Yeah, Lalit, I'm fine. We can go ahead. I mean, yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can go ahead, continue. Yeah, demo. Yeah, maybe you can.
So one more thing which I just wanted to say is, so these are the Microsoft, so I'm a Microsoft MCT, right? So I got all of those PPT from the Microsoft and then really following those curriculum, right? So it is nothing which is with I have designed or something. It is purely a Microsoft based content, right? SN104, and which they have designed for this particular course to have those things. So what I'll do is I'll just start with the basic these things, because here it just start from the Azure and everything. So I'll start with the basic, like how can you utilize the Microsoft Azure, and then what are the difference between on-premises and Azure, and all of those things we'll cover up into the demo part, right? And if you like the demo, and then we'll start the regular classes, we'll just go with this particular each and every module, and then we'll describe. Is this fine for you?
Yeah,
Okay, no issues.
yeah, yeah.
What I'm going to do is, okay, so as I have already explained, these are the trainings, right? We have a live scenario based training, so I'll be taking to the live demos how you're going to create the services, and then providing will help you to provide some of the Azure labs for you, and the best practices, and clarifying your queries, and will help you trainees and implementation of real time scenario, right? So
Yeah,
apart from that, I'll be helping you in the lab and the case study, and then will help you in the mocks or the Azure interview preparations if you would like to, right? And then the overall architectural and the live scenario based questions or the visual diagrams. Let's just say if you're going for architectural and all.
yeah.
So in this particular agenda, we'll be discussing on Microsoft Azure cloud terminology, on-premises versus Azure, and then Microsoft Azure. Whereas in what are the demo, we'll be discussing on how you can access the Microsoft Azure environment and kind of other stuffs, right?
Yeah.
So when you just look out at then these two pictures, you have to understand what is in on-premises and what is in Azure, right? When you see just the two pictures, whereas in if you can see in the on-premises, we have racks of the servers, right? Whereas in
Yeah.
Microsoft Azure, you just see in the cloud, just you have each and every services. Either it could be a VM, it could be a DNS, and whatsoever the services, right?
Yeah.
Now, what will happen in data centers if you're going to set up any of those things, right? So first of all, you have to order your hardware from the vendor. It will take a month or two, and then once you will get it, you will be have to set up. You have to use the like UPS networking cabling. Right, networking team will do that. Then operating team will come up. Then application team will come up to install the software. Right. So all of this five, six, 7 layers of the teams will come and then build, and then finally it will hand over to the applications team to develop their applications, test their applications, and all, right?
Yeah.
But where it is in Azure, you don't have to do these things. Hardly it will take 15 minutes to create the VM. Once the VM is created, like before you create the VMs, you have to create the VNet and all those stuffs, right? Not like in on-premises. So once a VMs is there, everything is created within 15 minutes or probably in 1 hour to hardening and other stuffs. Max in 1 hour, the services can be delivered to the customers. Where it is, if it is on premises, if you're talking right, it will take a month. But in Azure, it's just taking an hour. So that's where that scalability of the Microsoft Azure, the performance will be there, right? And the data centers, which you cannot manage centrally, right? How you can manage those data centers centrally, right? You have to go to the office, or you have to be there in the data centers to connect to servers and all, right? But where it is in Azure, you can manage centrally. Let's just say some of your data centers are there in US, so you have to travel to US, right? But in
Yeah.
Azure, even though some of the resources are there in your US region, also you can manage within India. Okay. So there's a
Global.
major
Okay.
difference globally, right?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
manage
Yeah.
globally. Apart from that,
Yeah. Yeah.
the services and then license and everything, you don't have to care of any of the licensing. Everything would be there in Microsoft Azure. The VM license will be there, the software license there, and all of those stuffs are there, which will be taken care by Microsoft. If you have an additional license and kind of, you can also utilize those licenses, or you have a Linux product which you can utilize those licenses as well to the Microsoft Azure. So it's reduce a complete. And then the second part is, once you buy an hardware, right? If you buy an hardware for 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs of rupees, either you utilize it or don't use it. It can be used, right? You have already paid for that. But in Azure, let's just say within 1 month, or like you create the VM in 50, after 15 to 20 days, your customer comes up, oh no, we like my project has got failed or something that we wanted to delete. So you have just paying only the 15 days cost, not for 1 year
Okay.
cost,
Oh,
right?
can I
So
ask one question?
yeah, please.
Uh, uh, so, but you said like there is no cost associated with to install any software when I requested when I bought VM from the Azure. Let's say I purchase one VM and I want to migrate my Informatica complete thing to the Azure. So, but do I need to install Informatica there? Like that require license, right? It's a different,
Yeah, that required license, yes. So if you wanted to
right?
install an Informatica, yes, it does require an Informatica license, not the virtual machines or the operating system
Yeah, I mean they
license,
just
because
give
that will,
they just provide the
yeah,
virtual machine. I mean hardware
right,
infrastructure thing,
right.
and these kind of software is what were needed, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Oh, coming to database also, everything database.
Yeah, and then in the database, like there are a couple of like PES services also there, or you have on-premise, like similarly VMs with the SQL is also there. So whatever the database you utilize, so if you can choose with the image, the license will be included. But if you have a license, just install it and put the license, and that will be taken care.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then what should we use that Microsoft, Azure, in terms of why, like what is the reason behind it to utilize Microsoft Azure? First of all, it is open and the flexible cloud platform, which will help you in terms of the uh, flexibility. Let's just say if your customer comes in and then you want a 50 VMs within 5 days, right? You create
Yeah,
one custom image and then deploy it, and your 50 VMs might be created in 4 days, and then you re-verify everything's in all and done, right? But
yeah,
where it is in on-premises, if the same request comes and you have to order, let's just say if you don't have anything
correct.
on inventory, you have to order the hardware to get those, right? But here you just open it, create it. When the customer work is done, even you can delete it, so you can save the customer cost as well. Whereas in the second option is build, deploy, and manage any of the applications across the global network. So whatever the applications you wanted to deploy C Sharp, Python, or Informatica, whatsoever the applications you wanted to deploy, wherever the customers belongs to, either it is in Canada, Singapore, Australia, Germany, or whatsoever the customers are there, I just help you, right? In terms of to
Hmm.
deploy those applications, manage those applications across the globe. Let's just say few of the code you just written here, and then the one person in your team, your colleague, wanted to access that code in US, right? Either you can put it into the OneDrive or something. You just put it into the file storage, right? And give this part to them saying that okay, just you can access that code. So that can be very frequently. You just upload it
Yeah,
here. within 5 minutes you will be able to access there, right? So this
Yeah.
is the, some things which both the people can work together and then manage those applications across the globe. You don't have any dependencies, right? So it will help you in that. Even you can build your applications using .NET, Python, Java, and whatsoever the languages is supported by Microsoft. You can utilize those languages and you can build your applications, mobile platform or the desktop applications platform, whatsoever the platform you wanted to build, right? Even it supports an AI ML kind of stuffs as well.
Yep.
Then you'll have an integrated, it's easy to integrate your cloud applications for your existing environment, for IT environment, right? And what you can do is you can manage your applications and kind of other stuffs very, very, neatfully, right? You don't have to, care about anything. So you can integrate with your mobile applications if you wanted to. You can manage your Azure applications to on-premises. You wanted to connect your network to Azure, on-premises network to Azure, right? And all of those things. So that you can manage. And apart from that, we'll be discussing of the module of like, so it is something which is there in this Azure computing module, which is you have in the self-service delivery. Like you don't have to own any of the vendors to manage, right? You don't have to, wait for any of the vendors to for provide you the service delivery, because if you have an on-premises, you have lot of vendors to deliver all of those services, right? And you have an dependencies with the network team, with this team, that team, and all of those. So all of those dependencies, I won't say is 100% reduced, right? Once it is
Yep.
100% reduced, it's not 100% reduced, but there is around 90 to 94% dependencies will be reduced, right? And then we'll have a on-demand resources, which is growth. If your customer comes in and asking for multiple of subscription or the services or the VMs and other stuffs, what you can do, you can just manage there. Then it's reduce the risk also. Let's just say people went to the data center, right? And by mistake, if you see, if you ever went on the data centers, right? I have been there a couple of times. So what I have looked out, like cabling and all will be there and other stuff will be there when you are, and the racks and the servers are there. So by mistake also, you are, fixing some other cables and then other cables been missed out, or by mistaken, if you put something
Yep.
onto the power or something, right, it is completely complete racks is going down, and then there is a huge
Outage or
loss,
impact.
right? Outage and
Yep.
impact. So these are all those things, human error and kind of other stuff being reduced, because yeah, that data centers will not be managed by you, it's just managed by the Microsoft. Apart from that, you will reduce the cost, whatever it is just in pay as you go, how much services or how much time you will utilize for services, they will charge. So charges would be, per second. So if you use for 1 hour, 1 second, yes, the charges will be for 1 hour, 1 seconds. What happened to earlier? It is if you use for 1 hour, if you use for half an hour also, they'll charge you for 1 hour, and then they come up with the minutes. So if you charge for 2 minutes 30 seconds, then they will charge you for 3 minutes, right? Kind of
But it
those
depends
mechanisms will
on
be there.
one question.
Yeah.
Let's say my cost is like if I create if I ask them to have 50 virtual machines, so they take that needs cost separately, or it's only cost when I started using those.
No, once you have, start utilizing the cost at that time, like when you create the VM, the cost will start from that time.
Oh, okay, okay. I created VMs. I requested 50 M, then it will have some cost. So once I
Right,
started using, I deployed application. I started running application, testing something. So every time they charge, right?
right.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
no issues. So then we'll come up with the on-premises module, whereas you'll have in applications, data, runtime, middleware, operating systems, virtualizations, storage, and network. All of those layers will be managed by you in terms of on-premises, right?
Yeah.
But
True.
in
Yes.
terms of if you comes with the cloud module, which is in IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right? Infrastructure services, platform as a services, and the software as services.
Yeah.
So if you're going to manage what Microsoft is saying, will be managing your 40% of the layer. Rest you will manage. The what are the applications you wanted to run? What are the data you wanted to put in? What are the runtime you wanted to put in? What are the middleware and the operating systems you wanted to put in? So all of those things will be managed by you. Rest of the things will be like the core hardware and the core networking will be managed by you. Sorry, managed by the
Oh,
Microsoft, but rest of the upper layer, which we're going and creating those things, will be managed by you. Right? When in terms of the platform as a services, what you can do is 80% will be managed by the Microsoft till the runtime, and then what are the data, applications, and other stuffs will be you are putting it will be managed by you. Then the software as a services, all of those things will be managed by Microsoft. Just this provide you the account and then services, just like your you can say a Facebook, so you can create your page, upload the video, whatever you wanted to do, so you can manage those access and other stuffs, right?
okay. But
Now,
one question here. Sorry. Yeah.
yes, yes, please.
Yeah, but no, mostly what we use normally among these three platform as a service. Because let's say I considered a
Yep.
big data example. You
Hmm.
know, I need everything, right? So I don't want to spend time on having install what OS. So is it like platform service? I
Yeah.
mean,
So
I'm just trying to understand which
yep,
scenario we use. Yeah.
mostly we'll be using in IaaS and PaaS services. Okay. So I'll just give you an example. Whereas in IaaS you have a Azure virtual machine, right? Let's just say VMs
Mhm.
related stuffs. Whereas in platform as a services, you'll have a web applications, SQL databases, right? All of those stuffs will come up. And the software as a services, which is your Office 365, Dynamics, right? SharePoint, all of those things will come
Oh,
up
okay,
in
okay,
this particular layer, right? So you'll manage maximum like 80 to 90% your work can be done in IaaS as well as in PaaS, platform as a services part. Any doubt?
okay. It's a middleware means here. What it here indicates here middleware.
Middleware like your applications, or let's just say auto your core applications and other stuffs. Let's just say patching, right? You're putting some
Mhm.
middleware softwares kind of stuff. Let's just say patching or something.
Okay,
You can say as a middleware. Yeah.
okay. But when we create, considering the ISaaS, the first one, infrastructure as a service, if I requested virtual machine, but when we create virtual machine, will it ask, right? I mean, whether we need Linux operating system or Windows or so that means
Yeah.
it's providing by the vendor only, right? I mean, Microsoft.
See everything which is there in Microsoft. Okay. Either you wanted to go Linux, Windows, Ubuntu, whatsoever. Okay.
I mean, but you mentioned the green, whatever green mentioned in that we manage. I mean, that is the
Mhm.
case. We won't manage voice, right?
Right. In that also, they have come up with like whenever you know create this PES applications, right? So it will ask you whether you need a Windows platform or the Linux platform.
Okay. Oh, I mean, when I try to create, it will ask initially whether you want to go ahead with
You
IaaS
want
or
like
PaaS or
yeah,
SaaS.
I'll just show you that like whenever you're creating in web applications, it will ask you whether you need in Windows or the Linux platform or a Docker platform.
Okay.
Okay. But
Okay.
few of the
Okay. Okay.
services you can see that Azure SQL databases, right? A PES SQL. That is why default it
Yeah.
will go on Windows. So that cannot be installed on Linux. So by default that will chosen as a Windows. So this just
Okay.
for the
Yeah. Yeah.
common, but now they have upgrading all of those stuffs, right? Even to
Yeah.
utilizing Linux and other stuffs. Yeah.
Okay.
Any
Yeah.
other?
Yeah. No, fine. Fine. Thank you.
Right. And these are the services which we'll be, discussing. Not all, but these are the most of the services which we'll be, discussing on compute. Let's just say virtual machines, container services are there, availability set, images, and all of those things will be there. The networking will be discussing on virtual network, application gateway, DNS, traffic manager, NIC, public IP, and kind of other stuffs. In storage accounts, we'll be discussing on a storage account and kind of other stuffs, resource group, cost management, right? So these are the couple of services which we'll be discussing in terms of those services, right? We'll be discussing on load balancers and the local network gateway. In previous exam, if you can see, right, you have CDN. CDN was there, but now that CDN has been removed. Okay, so if you can see this,
Mhm.
this profile been removed because comes, I think they have
Okay.
added into the developer parts, right? So these are the
Yeah.
things are there, right?
Yeah.
So this is just an overview of those services, and this is just an old exam. Sorry, I'm just referring to my old PPTs, and then let's just these are the couple of documents which you can utilize, and then overview. So let me just go to the portal quickly and then show you something. Give me a minute. So whenever you log in, you have to click on login to portal.azure.com, and once it will ask you the user ID and then password, right? So once you
Yeah.
give this user ID and then password, then it will ask you to log in. So I'm just logging with my Outlook ID, and then just right. So now if you can see, right, the dashboard would be looks like this. Okay. And whereas if you wanted to create a new dashboard or you wanted to download this dashboard, you can download. Even you can share or you can have a full
Is it the
screen of
latest one or is this the
this
latest
one,
one?
latest one. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Even you can, have your full screen. You can clone that screen or delete it and all. Whereas whenever you log in with your multiple accounts and all of those accounts will be listed here. And in this settings, if you wanted to, change couple of things, let's just say the security setups, right? When you are not available for 1 or 1.5 hours, right? What will happen? Your subscriptions will be automatically sign out for the
Okay.
security prospects. So it's just for testing subscriptions. I just put it never. And then there are two things. One is the fly out, like the completely you will not get anything here. And then another one is docked. So docked means your all the favorite options are there. So whenever you wanted to create anything, let's just say compute you wanted to create, it will directly go to the compute, right? And create some. So these are the couple of options are there. Apart from that, the coloring you wanted to choose, right? The basic things, or just like this one, or the contracts you wanted to go with this white or the black contracts, kind of other stuff. So you can just customize your, if you wanted to enable the pop-up notifications and all, will be utilized. Then you can, restore or export or, delete kind of stuffs, right? All of those things will be there, right? And how you can see what are the resources you have, right? You can, click on here and particular this four boxes, and these are all the resources will created in this particular subscriptions, right? Apart from that, you'll have this window is used for the notifications, right? And this particular for if you have a multiple of subscriptions, let's just say, right? I have a multiple of directories, right? These are the, multiple directories I have. Okay. So
Okay.
these are the directories I have. So I can, as of now, I log into this directory, but I have, other directories as well. So if I wanted to change the directory, I can change the directory, right? And from here also, I can, change the multiple of directories, right?
So directory means here under the subscription, it's a directory or?
No, these are the like the you have multiple of directories in the sense of you have uh, multiple of Azure directory which associated your subscriptions. So let's just say in my case I have this particular directory, right? Lalit01.rawat Outlook. Okay. So
Mhm.
these are the one directory where is I have 5 subscription associated, right? In your
Okay.
company,
Okay.
they have another directory where just say cloudaz.com, right? This directory that has another couple of other subscriptions associated to it. Okay, kind
Okay.
of.
But one
If they,
question here,
yeah.
subscription, it's like based on like environment wise, like technology wise. Let's say I have one more project. I obviously have multiple environments in my
Mhm,
on-prem. So
mhm,
can it's is it like I can have only one subscription to keep all to move all my environments to Azure? How we can
mhm.
segregate between the dev, test, and prod QA? Like,
Now you can have only one subscriptions, okay, and then you can create the multiple resource group for dev test and then the prod. Or based on your organization compliance, you can have multiple of subscriptions as well. For production, you can have separate. For the development and test, you have a separate subscriptions. So just up to you, like how you want it to, how your customer want it. But in a one subscriptions, there's no limitation that you cannot manage. In a one subscriptions, you can define a separate resource group, a separate VNets for each and everything, and they will be isolated completely.
so
Let's just say
under
for
subscription, we
HR,
have a
let's
resource
just
group.
say, right,
Yeah.
yes, you have this resource
So
group.
the resource group is based on what? Uh,
It just have your,
res-
all the resources. So just have your all the resource into this particular resource group. Let's just say I was just wanted to have this is the one resource group, right? In this you
Mhm.
have in no SQL databases and the CDN, and then you have another resource group, right? So you can manage the resource group, you can provide the access, RBAC rule, and kind of other stuff. So we'll discuss all of those things when
Yeah,
we
yeah,
go
sure, sure.
actually into the course. Okay. So, but the
Yeah, yeah, sure.
basic funda is the layer is you'll have in on the top you have a directory, and then under the directory you have a subscriptions. Can have multiple subscriptions. Under each subscriptions you have a resource group. Okay. So whatever the
Okay.
subscription you choose, under that you will find some. You'll create while creating the resources and all. You'll get the resource group. Okay. And if you
Yeah.
wanted to move source group from one subscription to another, that is also possible. But for few of the services, not all the services.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Okay. So this is just an, if you wanted to see in all the services here, just click on this three dots. And then you can see all of those services here. Just click on all services, right? All of those services are there. Okay. So these are all the
Yeah.
services in terms of you have AI, AML, and then kind of, other things. But as we are, concentrating on, what we can say is we're concentrating on administrations. So we'll concentrate of all the administrative services. So this is just an overview of Microsoft Azure subscriptions, and then my demo ends here. And if you have any queries, any questions, yeah, you can raise your questions. Would be happy to answer your queries.
It's fine, Lalit. As of now, I'm fine, and this could be. No, it was very helpful actually. I got some idea. Yeah. So yeah, maybe we'll see. Maybe when we can start, I will let you know.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Lalit. Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shikhar, so you have any questions, Lakshman, or just bind up the call?
I'm fine now. For now, as of now.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Shikhar, you are there?